Hello. In this video, I'm going to show you how to work in RStudio to read files into RStudio as variables that you will be able to plot in the next series of videos. The first thing we need to do is we need to start a new project. So once you open RStudio, and remember it will only open if you've also successfully installed R, we're going to go to File, New Project. And what we want to do every single time we work in RStudio is we want to create a new directory, a new folder where we can put any of our data files that are going to be our input to the program in the script that we write, and where we can also have any output files, including plots that we create, be stored. That way we know where all our files are, and when we're writing a program, we don't have to specify the folder that our data is in, we can just use the name of the file. So I'm going to start a new directory in a new project. I'm going to put it on my desktop so I know just where it is. And I'm going to call this Instron plot. Now that I've done that, I have a new folder that was created on my desktop, and the folder just has a single file in it, instronplot.rproj. We really always want to have a folder for our work, and we want to have a project. It'll help store all the additional information as we're working. So this is the default view in RStudio, but if I want to create a script, one of the things I really want to do is have a script window open. So now I have the console where I can type commands. You can test this out by typing a very simple mathematical formula, something like 2 plus 2. You can see it's equal to 4. So I can test individual commands at the console. But if I have a list of commands that work for creating a plot, I want to be able to save that. So I'm going to save my script in my project directory. And now I have a new file in the project directory called plotdata.r. Now this project won't work unless I can get my files stored here. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my email or to a website or to our course Canvas page. I'm going to download the files and then I'm going to drag them from downloads into this folder. So I'm going to show you how that would work. Right now I have example files stored in my Dropbox folder. So I'm just going to open the Dropbox folder and get files that are example Instron files. You can see that this was an R project from a previous lab. And now I'm going to copy the compression raw data file. And one of the things that I see people do all the time in R is try to right-click in the RStudio interface to paste the file. The problem is that this is not a file explorer. You're not going to be able to move files into RStudio. It doesn't have drag and drop. So I need to go to File Explorer. And go to Desktop, go to the Instron plot folder that I created, and now I can paste the compression underscore raw data underscore 1.csv file that I got from Dropbox. Now this data file has a pretty long name. If I wanted to change it, I do have the option to change it in RStudio. So if I check on it, I can click rename. And I can change this from compression underscore raw data.csv to just compression.csv. That will make it a little easier to type as I want to read the file in. So the next step is something that we can do without installing all of the tools and packages that we're going to need for plotting. I can read in the file with functions that are available in base R, specifically read.csv. So I'm going to make a new variable called myData. I'm going to use the arrow symbol, which is like the equals sign, which is going to say that my data will be whatever command I put to the right of that arrow, read.csv. And the first thing that goes into read.csv, you can see from this little list that comes up, is the file name. Then we say, is there a header or not a header? Is there a separating variable? By default, that's a comma. We have a comma separated variable file, so that's what we're going to use. Are there quotes or not quotes? Do we have a decimal that's a period? That's the default, but if you have data from a European colleague, you may have a comma as the decimal symbol. Is the CSV file filled? If it's filled, you let it stay with the default true. Are there any comment characters? So these are the kinds of things that we can change. I'm going to start typing the name of the file, compression.csv. And I'm going to leave everything else the default setting because this data does have a header and it is separated by commas. So when I read it in, one of the first things I can do is I can look at how did it read in. So it read in pretty well, but there's one thing that's a little weird. My file does have a header row, so time, extension, and load are the names of the columns, and I want to keep those. But it also has, as a second row of data, before the actual data starts, it has a row that says the units that each of those things are in. So time is in seconds, extension is in millimeters, and load is in newtons. I don't actually want that row of data if I want to make a plot. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say my data 2 is equal to my data, and I'm going to get rid of just one row. I'm going to get rid of the one row and keep everything else. Now I have a new data frame, exactly the same. You can see it's 1502 by 3 instead of 1503 by 3, but I've managed to get rid of row 1. One thing that's interesting in R is the row names are still there. So I deleted row 1, but if I wanted to delete row 2, I would do -2 as the instruction as I did in line 2. So I'm going to put a little comment here. The hashtag symbol allows you to write notes to yourself about what the line does without it being code that is executed. So delete row 1, and this line reads in raw data. So that's the first step to any plotting process, is making sure that the data gets read in a data frame and that the data frame is formatted so that each of the columns can be a vector on the graph.